Alright everybody, how you doing? It's Rob Duenas here, aka SketchCraft. Hey, we're going to talk about coloring some different experimental fun skin tones, some semi-realistic, some we're just making up, right? I've already done a basic kind of light, pale, and medium tone and a little darker tone skin tone video. That's already up, so you can go check that out. I'll put a link to it here. Free to click on, so if you want to check that, it's got codes. Also, this template is available for download. You can download it. I've sized it to 11 by 14, but it fits on 8.5 by 11. I'll put the 8.5 by 11 up, but so you know this is 11 by 14, just because it's easier to see on the camera, right? Easier to see. So there you go. But you can print these out on 8.5 by 11, whatever you'd like. Give it a shot, experiment. So what we have here are some basic little quick sketches I've done. Little girl faces, kind of half bodies. I printed these out kind of like in a reddish color. That's what I tend to color in, like a sienna or a purpley color. And sorry, I was like, it said offline there for a second. And then when I get done, I'll add black around areas I need to with lines. So it's just how I like. So anyhow, let's move right on here. Just do a little bit of experimentation. Already done some pale colors, so why don't we try some darker colors, and then we'll do some fantasy colors. We'll call it fantasy. So let's start with an E43. So Copic markers, E43. I've whittled all my markers down to 64 colors, and it's been based on a lot of trial and error over the past few years. Anything else I need in between kind of can be done with a color pencil. We'll do another E43 too. As with a lot of Copic markers, they're wet alcohol-based medium, so they will look a little dark or dampy when you first lay them down. If you want a really smooth colors, you need to add the next layer of shade as you lay the color down because it's still wet on the page, and that'll blend them through. I'm not going to do a lot of that. I like sort of harder edged shadows, so that's what we'll be doing. And again, when we're done here, we can go and add some marker and pop shapes out and stuff. So these are not final renders. These are just little guides I can use to help me along. So that's an E43, and then let's try Y26 and oh, Y26 and a Y00. Y00, Y26. Ah. Did I do an E4 one? I did do E4 one. Hey, what's up? Let's do a couple of these. We'll do a Y26, Y20, and we'll do another one here, because I already know. Let's fill these in as we work. I gotta remember to do that. Y00, Y00, E43, E43. What's up? I don't speak Spanish or Portuguese. I don't know what you're saying. So, and then we'll try Y26. 6. Put these back. And let's also try some fun fantasy kind of stuff here. Let's try a G00. And the reason why I'm kind of speeding along the different ones is I'm giving the chance for these other alcohols, the other markers to dry first before I add the shade. We can try that. G00. Let's do a B00. Make blue people. Why not? You never know that'll happen. Someone will be like, draw me a Smurf. I'm like, I don't have that figured out. I'm like, boom, got it figured out. So. B00. And let's try an R20. Yeah, let's try a 401. Make sure we go back and fill this in. R20 and a V01. Alright, so that's a start. So with the shade, I'm going to do two different kinds of shade. We'll do a W5, which is kind of like a more of a man, aggressive, maybe warrior type. I don't want to say man, but let's say aggressive. Could be if also if they're like severely in shadow. And then let's also try, oh, I forgot to add the guide here. So W5. And let's try the V15, right? Or V15? Yeah, V15. Which is a bit more lively, right? So if you had a him and a her, you know, boom, more feminine, right? Let that dry. And then here, let's try for the shade a Y21, which is Buttercup. That's fun. Maybe they're all at the beach and it's high contrast, you know? Could also be good for Simpsons or just like fairies or. you know, fantasy characters, or even I don't know, maybe if you got a little bit more of a creamy tan coloration. My brother, my brother's a little bit more like that. I'm super white though, like it's crazy. Or what do you call that? Fleshy pink, whatever. Yeah. Do do do. So this one, let's try. It's Y26. Let's try. Oh, I think V15. Yeah, I'll do a V15. Nice, good contrast. And because it's a warmer color, it has some life into it. You know, you're not just like throwing shades, you know. Depending on the time of day, so forth, so forth. We forgot to add the butter cup in the guide. This is what I do when I have actual work to do and I'm burnt out. Rather than sit on my ass and not do anything, I'll at least do this because this helps. Helps get the mind to think creatively, you know? So I still play games, video games, watch movies, but I do them not when I'm trying to shirk responsibility. I do them when I have legitimate time off. I'll give myself time off. But right now I have responsibilities, so and I'm a little burnt out, so I'd rather do some creative stuff, which will get me in the mood. It usually gets me like psyched up to go do other things. So, and then we can come and add the shade on her. I think that's ready now. We can come back and use the Y26, this right here. So if you had like a daughter and then like the older guy with the sword, you know, like you know, I could see both these playing very well. Or even, you know, the ninja, the I don't know, like the badass warrior mom and like the little kid, right? That would look cool. Let me come here. I'll just use a W7. It's kind of a haunting image. It's like, feed me, I'm thin. But I'll use a V7 here. Feel free to experiment with color, you know, like unless you're trying to go for super 100% realism, you know, like I watch a lot of anime, you know, in life, and you know, not everyone just is like Disney colorified. Like, boom, that's fleshy, that's dark. Like, there's plenty of different ways to do this. E35. No, it's not enough contrast. E25. So, you know, when you're doing commissions and someone says, hey, I want this character, that character, you know, you kind of already know. You go, boom, I already know I'm going to use that skin type, this skin type, this skin type, that skin, you know. You got a lot of this stuff figured out. And you can move on to other things, like figuring out how to, you know, get all the armor down and everything else. Let's do green here. So we'll do a YG13. YG13 and PG34 or FY G02. Kind of a poison ivy thing going there, right? Let's try. Yeah, I probably should have used that first. So I'll fix that. So we'll put that first, and then we'll put a slash YG13. Then come over here. And use G02 as the shade. Fun. Almost done. So let's put this back, and put that there, and we'll put that. Nope. All right. Here, we're going to use BG34. Oh, that's kind of a nice zombie-ish color, right? Or kind of like what's her face from Nightmare Before Christmas. BG34. Let that dry for a little bit. Alright, so we'll come over here and use FBG2. Some good contrast going on there. You gotta think like sometimes too, like your art and value. Like if this didn't have color, it was black and white. You do want there to be a step, a gradation, like an actual step in tone. You can always blend the edges together if you want them softer. But if you're going from like a 1 to a 2 to a 3 to a 4, it's just going to create a big smudge, a big hazy gray. You really want to go from a 1 to like a 5 or a 1 to like a 7, you know, and then to like a 10, and then add the gradation in between as you go. All right. So let's fill that in. FBG2. And we'll put that back. BG49. B05. And then let's work on these other two here. So the first one's an R20. And we'll do a V04 here. And an RV55. Probably not enough contrast. So we'll do a V17. V17. And then for his, we'll use an RV09. Put some saturation in the shadow. See, you can use saturated colors as shadow. Shadows will have saturation in them. You'd be surprised. RV09. Here I'm going to go back and add some BG49 because that is not poppy enough for me. There we go. And then we'll just put BG49. Makes a big difference. Pops the other parts of the character right out. You know. And then when it's all dry, like you can come over here and go, okay, you know, take a little black marker and like back in the shadow areas, you can, this little Sharpie, you know, just quickly usually around the eyes and the darker areas. Come back here. So the parts that are lighter have that like lighter edge to the line. That's the whole reason why I do that. So I might even put black line around most of it, but where it's lighter, it stays lighter. You know, so it looks more fainter. And then, you know, on an actual commission, it would be cleaner than this, but you can add white highlights, you know, pop stuff out. See that? 325 is not enough contrast. Let's go to an E09. Yeah, I think that's better. E09. Yeah, not enough contrast for me. Now a character like here, I wouldn't do any. Because the black on the yellow looks weird. I'd want more of a sienna marker at the time. They make some Copic siennas, but their contrast sucks. The ink I ink with is a sienna, so I could always go back over that with some of my own ink, which I'm not going to use here because I don't feel like getting it out. So right there. So there we go. We got some, you know, darker warrior. Then we got some, you know, darker female warrior, some male warrior type. I'd use that right there. Young, I don't know, fantasy colors. Some nice fantasy style colors down here. All worked out. And then, of course, the previous video, we did this. So check that out. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. It's a 30-minute mark, so that means I got to get out of here. I will answer everything. Also, this template will be available for download. I'm going to upload it now and add the links. So just wait for a second, and you can come in here, download it yourself, print it out, give it a shot. You know what I mean? Practice some skin tones, save your results, so when you go to work on commissions and you do art, you don't have to figure this all out as you're going along. You'll be like, that's dope, I want like that. Boom. There you go. Right? Prepare, everybody. Be prepared. All right. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye. Be prepared. Make a coffee. All right.